Hey everybody, Gallus Progressive here. Today I wanted to actually recommend a book that I just finished reading for one of my classes. The name of the book is Red Orchestra. It's by Ann Nelson, and it's basically about the resistance movement in during Nazi Germany. And I thought the book was very good. It was very well written. It's very chronological, and it starts at the beginning of what would be considered the rise of the Nazi Party of the late 20s, and it goes all the way through the end of the Nazi Party in 1945 when Germany's defeated, and it kind of takes you individually into these people's lives, and it's very chronological in that point. It's written in a way that's very easy to understand. It's not it's not an academic type of a book. It doesn't have a lot of like fancy words in it, and it's very easy to understand. You know, you kind of put it down and pick it up. You know, it's not one of those things where like, oh, if I put it down and then I go away for, and I leave it for, like a month or 2 months, and I come back, I'm not gonna know what the hell's going on. I'm gonna have to start over. It's not like that. You can put it down and then you can pick it up whenever. I think the book is a good history, and I think it's very fair to everybody included. I think it's fair to the people who were involved with Red Orchestra, and I think it's fair to I think it fairly criticizes everyone. I mean, obviously, if you're a Nazi, if you're part of the Nazi Party, you're not going to be happy with this book. But other than that, I think it's very fair. I think it's critical of Stalin and some of the things he did, but not overtly critical. I think it's very critical of the United States and Great Britain and their, I guess, overall apathy towards Germany and what was going on, and I think it's very fair in that sense. Like I said, it's good history. It's very well sourced. I don't really have really two slight criticisms of the book. One criticism of the book is that I think sometimes it's very the transitions aren't very good. Now a plus about, because there's a lot of people involved in this. There's over 100 people involved in this in Red Orchestra. It was a widely connected group of people, and there's over 100 people involved in this book. And sometimes one thing she does do that I think is good, she puts like a little mini biography of everyone in the resistance, of everyone that she talks about involved in the resistance. So that's good. But even though she does that, when you read the book, sometimes she'll be talking about something and then she'll just totally drop off and start talking about something else. It's not the greatest transitions in the world. I mean, sometimes it's very easy to get confused. You're like, okay, what are we talking about? It's very easy to get confused. So you kind of do have to pay close attention in a sense. So sometimes you have to watch for that, because the transitions aren't great in this book. I have to be honest, they aren't great, and at times I found myself wondering what we were talking about, because sometimes the transitions are so abrupt, and not as clear as you'd like them to be. Another thing is that for some reason she seemed to want to downplay the fact that most of the people involved in Red Orchestra were communists, or had pro-Soviet or had pro-Soviet in some sense, or at least liked the communists, like like the idea of communism, like the ideas proposed by communists. And for some reason, she seemed to want to downplay that. Like she would tend to say, like, well, they might have had pro-communist sides, but it's not really verified. And it's like, well, I mean, if anyone who knows about the period before Nazi Germany, the Weimar Republic, there are a lot of communists in Germany. I mean, there's a lot of communists in Germany, so it's not really surprising that people who would resist Hitler are communists. But there are also other people like the socialists and people who were involved that are former Nazis that kind of didn't like what they were doing that joined. But I mean, most of the main people that she focuses on were either communists, or were pro-communist, or at least like the ideas. And for some reason, seemed to want to downplay that, which I'm not quite sure why she did that. The only thing I could probably think of is the fact that, you know, she's writing this for perceivably an American audience and is written in a non-academic way. So maybe she was thinking, you know, well, maybe I ought to downplay the fact that these people are communists because people pick up the book might be turned off by that. But I don't think she should have done that. I think she should have laid it out there and let people decide. You know, I think, you know, it doesn't matter that they're communists or not. You know, as long as they were resisting what the Nazis were doing is the most important thing, not that they were Nazis or not. So I don't know why she did this. Kind of created this kind of like false dichotomy in the middle of the book, which I don't know why she would do that. But that's the only thing I could think of, you know. So, but besides that, it's like I said, it's a good history, and I think it's very well written, very well documented, and I think worth checking out. So if anybody is like a big Germany is a big fan of German history, or likes reading about history in general, or is interested about, you know, the different interplay in that area, in that era, and what was going on, or is just interested in what it was like to live in Nazi Germany. If nothing else, it gives a great sense of what it's like to live in Nazi Germany, what it's like to live under those circumstances, and it does do that very well, I think. So if you're interested in any of those three things, I would highly suggest checking out this book. I think it's like I said, I think it's a very good book, and I highly suggest it. Reading it maybe for like a summer reading thing, you know, or something, if you're into reading like me. I'll post some links to Amazon. You can kind of check it out, and I'll post like maybe a couple book reviews that are pretty good. So you guys can check it out, see what you think, if you're interested, if you're not interested, or whatever. So that's all I have. I will talk to everyone later. God's progressive. Peace.